Hey, don't kill the messenger. I'm just asking the question. Sam Darnold balling out for the Seattle Seahawks. Daniel Jones balling for the Indianapolis Colts. Aaron Rodgers balling for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was supposed to be washed up. The question is, any regrets, UP Nation, at all? We'll talk about it on the UP.
I don't know who I am. Can I say?
Powered by Riverside FM.
Man, this is a tough subject, and I want to hit it a certain type of way. And by no stretch of the imagination am I saying that the Vikings should have gone a different direction than JJ McCarthy, because as you guys all know, where my alliances lie, where my loyalty lies, I think it should be JJ McCarthy all the way for the rest of the season as soon as he's healthy. But there are a lot of questions being bounced around on X and Instagram and all the stuff that I get an opportunity to read about the Minnesota Vikings. And the one thing that keeps coming up is whether or not the Minnesota Vikings regret moving on from other quarterbacks or other options at quarterback to go all in with JJ McCarthy. So I'm just here to provide a dialogue. Put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Should the Vikings have regretted moving on and putting all their eggs in the basket of JJ McCarthy? Do you feel like that's a smart choice? Do you feel like that's a bad choice? I'm just here to provide my insight and a platform, because this is what everybody is kind of talking about. And at the end of this thing, if you stay with me, at the end of this thing, I'm going to explain to you where I stand and then tie this thing up in a nice, neat bow. But the optics, it's all about the optics. Optics, man, are tough to get around. I'll give you the perfect example. You look at the optics in Cleveland, Ohio with the Cleveland Browns. They are a mess. They are paying 8 different quarterbacks, if you can believe that. 8 different quarterbacks. They got rid of Baker Mayfield, who's balling in Tampa Bay, probably the lead candidate for MVP right now. For Deshaun Watson, biggest contract ever in the NFL, had some baggage coming into the organization. Now he's got an Achilles tear, and they can't get rid of him. And they're struggling at quarterback while Baker Mayfield is flourishing. The optics of that are terrible. And I'm not saying that the Minnesota Vikings optics are the same. They're not even in the same stratosphere. But the optics right now aren't the best. Daniel Jones we had in our fold, and I know people say, well, Daniel Jones wanted to start my point is, if you're being truthful about it, you had Daniel Jones in the building. You could have done whatever you wanted. You had an opportunity to see him every day. You could have done whatever you wanted to get him to stay. And I'm not saying the right decision was for him to stay. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you had the option of viewing him every day and making that decision. Is that fair to say, UP Nation, Skull Nation, Purple Gang? I'm only on one side of this, and that's JJ McCarthy. That's our future franchise quarterback. I'm just bringing it up because it's a topic of conversation. You look at Sam Darnold. We had him in the building. We had an opportunity to re-sign him. I believe there was an offer on the table to Sam, but it was minimal. We knew that Sam wasn't going to take it. We allowed Sam to pursue other opportunities. The Seattle Seahawks was his opportunity, and he is balling out in Seattle. The reality of it all is that if we wanted to keep Sam Darnold, just like Daniel Jones, we could have. Like, we had the power to do that. And we got to stop playing this game. Well, Daniel Jones wanted to start. If we wanted to keep Daniel Jones, bad enough, we could have kept him. If we wanted to keep Sam Darnold, bad enough, we could have kept him. Then the whole Aaron Rodgers deal. Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be garbage, washed up, couldn't walk and chew gum at the same time, 50 years old, weak arm, can't get out of the pocket, can't be mobile. And I told people that was a little extreme. People were combining their emotional dislike to Aaron Rodgers and attaching it to his physical attributes. And that's why people could miss me with the whole Aaron Rodgers is garbage deal, Say he's a bad teammate. Say he's bad for the locker room. Say he's a little weird. Say he destroys teams. Say all of this stuff. But the one thing that I was never on board with is that he was garbage and he was washed up and he physically couldn't play anymore. It was just a bad take. And you're seeing now that there is no washed up, no bad attributes from Aaron Rodgers. Is he MVP, Aaron Rodgers? No, and I told you that. But I still told you that he was an effective quarterback, and we had the options. According to everybody out there, the Vikings weren't calling Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was calling the Vikings, wanting to be a part of this team. Any regrets on that? My vote is we should have went JJ McCarthy instead of Aaron Rodgers. I can live. I have no regrets, but I'm asking you, UP Nation, Purple Gang Skull Nation, the Minnesota Vikings, Brass, KOC, Kwesi adofo-mensah, any regrets now that you're 5 games in and you're seeing what all the other quarterbacks are doing? What are they doing? Sam Darnold, so far passing yards. Let me look at my notes here. 1,200 passing yards, currently 7th in the league in total passing yards. Touchdown to interception ratio, 9 TDs, 3 interceptions. Played well this past weekend, the weekend before last. He threw a critical interception towards the end of the game. His QBR, 78.8, second best so far. I mean, Sam Darnold is putting up really, really good numbers. Downfield passing. In week 3, Darnold had a 77.8 success rate, completed 6 of 8 passes, traveling more than 10 air yards for 146 yards. We all know this is what Sam Darnold does. He did it for the Purple last year. He did it in KOC's system last year. Sam Darnold puts up good stats. I don't think anybody, when he left here, thought that Sam Darnold was a garbage quarterback. Had a great year, 14-3 season last year. Daniel Jones right now, 1,290 yards through 5 games, 6 TDs, 2 interceptions. He's completing 71% of his passes. He is throwing for 8.6 yards per attempt. His pregame average per game this season, 258 yards. He's putting in work. He's putting in work. And he eyed Richardson's job and said, I'm coming to get it in Indianapolis. And he came to get that job in Indianapolis. That's Daniel Jones. You look at Aaron Rodgers. We just got a good look at him overseas. But just against the Browns in recent performance, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns in a 23-9 win over the Cleveland Browns. Veteran presence. He hasn't been a cancer in his locker room. See, when you have a guy like Mike Tomlin that is a specific culture builder, there's not going to be a lot of shenanigans in the locker room. There's only a lot of shenanigans is if you can walk over the coach. And I don't think anybody's walking over Mike Tomlin. But Aaron Rodgers is being really, really effective for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So when you look at the optics are everything, man. I think when you look at, cases in the news, it's one thing to tell a story, but when they can provide video evidence, when they can provide something visual for you to see, it hit home differently. And this is why the optics of this whole thing, it's going to be a little bit tough for the Minnesota Vikings. I took my family out west. I was driving out west, man. And I drove from Minnesota all the way to Portland, Oregon. One of the most prettiest drives that I've ever had the opportunity to drive. If you are from the Midwest and you want to drive to the Pacific Northwest, man, that is eye candy. Like, I've never seen more beautiful country than that. But on the way there, once we hit Wyoming and all those places, man, there were these little roads. Like, there was no guard railing. It was just going north and south, 2 lanes, both lanes going opposite of each other. There was no railing. If you made a wrong turn or your tire went off the side of the road, you were rolling down a cliff, man. It was eye-opening. It was scary. I'm looking at the Minnesota Vikings kind of the same way, man. The optics are the thin, narrow roads with no railing. Like, you're either going to be successful traveling the road, or you may have an accident, car may stop, you may go over the edge, and the Minnesota Vikings are close because of the optics. Your casual fan, your casual Minnesota Vikings fan, love to play what if, and they regret a lot. That's just my history of interacting with the casual Purple fan. They're looking at all of this because I've heard it. They're looking at Daniel Jones. They're looking at Aaron Rodgers. They're looking at Sam Darnold. We should have kept him. We should have kept him. We should have kept him. We should have signed Daniel Jones. We should have kept Sam Darnold, not thinking that keeping Sam Darnold means that you probably wouldn't be able to bring in the free agency class. Not probably, you wouldn't be able to bring in the free agency class that you brought in. And for me, I wanted the flexibility of salary cap and bringing in the free agency class. Some people don't care about that. Some people just want the quarterback. And I can understand that. Quarterback is the most important position in sports. The most important position in sports. You look at what the Cincinnati Bengals did, bringing in Joe Flacco this week, starting him yesterday. That's how important it is. You got to get somebody under center that can do it. Here's where I will tell people that are regretting the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence type thought processes. And I respect your thought process, man. The optics, it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch Sam Darnold. I'm glad for Sam Darnold, but it's hard to watch Sam Darnold putting in work for the Seattle Seahawks because he was in Egan. It's hard to watch Daniel Jones be successful with the Indianapolis Colts. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch, man, because he was in our building. It's hard to watch Aaron Jones sling those balls because you play the what-if game all day long. It's hard to watch because we had that opportunity. And if you can't handle all of those emotions while viewing the optics, the first thing you're going to do is say that we coulda, woulda, shoulda. We coulda, woulda, shoulda. Here's what I'm going to tell you about the optics that you're watching right now. The ultimate goal should not be to come close, but no cigar. Like that shouldn't be what you want anymore. UP Nation, Skull Nation, Purple Gang, by the way, hit that like and subscribe button. That shouldn't be what you want. We had that with the Randall Cunningham. We had that with the Dante Culpeppers. We had that with the Case Keenums. We had that with the Brett Favres. For me, I am ready to move on to the next level. I don't want the patchwork quarterback anymore. Yeah, I know it's fun. The season would be probably more fun right now with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. A lot more to talk about, a lot more content, probably more highlights in the games. Probably don't look like we look in the first two games of the season. Probably would have been a little bit more fun. Probably would have been a little bit more fun to bring Sam Darnold back. But we're not looking for fun. Our main goal, UP Nation, Purple Gang, Skull Nation, should be that Super Bowl. Here's how I think this is going to play out. And this may not age well, but Sam Darnold has done this before. I believe that he will continue to play well. I believe he will play well all season long until the lights get bright and the lights get hot. Let's see what he does in the playoffs, and let's make our decision there. Yeah, I'm not regretting anything until I see postgame. What he does postgame. Daniel Jones, I shouldn't say postgame, I meant postseason. Postseason. Daniel Jones, same deal. We saw flashes of brilliance from Daniel Jones when he was with the Jets. He just couldn't be consistent. It's the reason why KOC wanted him. It's the reason why he wanted him. He's going to put up great numbers, great stats. He's in a great system. Let's see what he does postseason. Let's see what he does postseason. Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame quarterback, great coaching staff in the Pittsburgh Steelers, got him 4-1, best quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger. Let's see what Aaron Rodgers can do postseason. See, postseason is the coup de grace. Postseason is the goal. We need to have a quarterback with the makeup that can get through the gauntlet of the playoffs. We've had the patchwork guys before that couldn't get it done. I'm all about the ring. I'm all about the Super Bowl. I'm not all about good season. That is secondary. If it takes a couple of years to invest in a guy that can get us over the hump like JJ McCarthy, that is where I am at, and that is where I'm going to stand, and that is where I'm going to be, UP Nation. If anything, the three guys that I have talked about so far in this video should give you a little pause. You could argue that people gave up on Sam Darnold a little bit too early. Now he's balling out. You can argue that people gave up on Baker Mayfield too early, and he's balling out. Maybe the New York Giants gave up too early on Daniel Jones. Think about this, UP Nation. Think about all these guys that we are possibly regretting not keeping. It took them a while to get to this point. It took them a while to get some games under their belt. And now they're in the second tier of their career and they're performing pretty well. And the only reason why they had the label of not being so good or being garbage is because of the level of patience that their fan base, their organization, their head coaches, their GM had for them. Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, Baker Mayfield. I can go on and on and on and on. We live in the age where we have to have things right now. And so we've got to be careful not to put JJ in that box where he's got to win us the Super Bowl right now. When we put that sort of pressure and we heap that sort of pressure upon his shoulders because we're impatient and we want things right now. This is the burden of having a young franchise quarterback, 22-year-old, on his rookie contract. There is no right now. You would be lucky if you could get the right now. So my whole thing about what's going on social media about the Vikings regretting not keeping some of these guys, man, you can miss me with that. I'm not on board with that. I knew that this was going to take time. It's going to take time, and it's going to be hard to deal with the optics, man. It's going to be hard to see other quarterbacks that were in Eagan, Minnesota, or that we had the option of getting doing well, where we're at a place where we have to develop a quarterback. The optics are going to be tough. They're going to hurt some weekends. They're going to make you feel bad some weekends. They're going to make you want to turn on the head coach and the GM. We should have did this and we should have did that. But keep in mind, all the quarterbacks that you feel like we should have kept or that we should have signed, they all had their struggles too. And their organizations gave up on them maybe a little bit too early. We got to be careful with that, UP Nation, Skull Nation, Purple Gang. JJ McCarthy is the prize. And I still believe in this kid 1,000%. But he needs to play, and he needs to be under center. And again, he needs to be supported. No quick, small sample size, snapshots, make up your mind whether or not he's a bust. Anybody that's saying he's a bust after 2 games, come on, man. Come on, man. If you want to make that evaluation after a year, hopefully JJ can come back in here and not get hurt again, play the rest of the season out without getting hurt again. You're going to have a bigger sample size of what JJ McCarthy is all about. Right now, sample size is not so great, but that fourth quarter against the Bears, you can't just dismiss that. You can't just put that away. That's a dog in crunch time being effective. So I decided to come out and talk about this, man. It's all over Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Do you regret, do the Minnesota Vikings regret not re-signing one of the 3 quarterbacks that we had an opportunity to sign that's playing well right now? Should we regret putting all our eggs into the basket of JJ McCarthy? Me, I'm all in with JJ until he proves me wrong. And I don't think the kid's going to prove me wrong. This has been Unconventional Playbook. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in. Purple Soda, thanks for the comments. Skull Mafia, the Black Al Bundy, Norse, all you guys chiming in. Keep commenting, man. Keep talking to me. Love talking with you guys and all of the Purple Gang and Skull Nation. Too many to mention, but hopefully at some point we'll mention you on here, man. I appreciate all the support. And as always, we will see you when we see you.